Hi, everybody. This is Kendall from Sager Family Farm. And thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about kitty cat care. So we're going to talk about cats and how I take care of them and what I get from them on my farm. If you're new to us here, you can type me questions over here in this box, and only I will see the questions. I cannot see or hear you, and no one else watching this can see or hear you. So this is the only way you can ask me questions, and only I will see what you type to me. Sometimes I have questions for you, and they'll pop up down here, and I'll let you know if I ask you a question like that. Today, I think I just have questions that you can type into this box here. The first of which is, does anybody out there have a pet? And what kind of pet do you have? Do you have a dog, cat, fish, turtle, lizard, other, bunny? So let me know what kind of pets you have. And again, today I'm going to talk about kitty cat care. So I'm going to talk about my two kitty cats and what I get from them and all the things that I do to take care of them, because my cats need a lot of things in order to stay happy and healthy. So let's see if anybody else is typing. It might take just a minute for folks to type in, and you can have your parents help you type in things too. But let me show you guys my kitties really quick. So these are my two cats. I have two. So Churro is the white one. He's a boy, and Cece is a girl. They are actually brother and sister. So even though they don't look very similar, they are actually from the same litter. So mama cats can actually have baby kitties that have different fathers. So I think that's probably what happened in the case of Churro and Cece, because in their litter, there were two kittens that looked like Churro. There were two kittens that looked like Cece, and there were two more kittens that were bright orange. So the siblings do not look very similar, but these two are actually born on the exact same day. They're the same age, and they are brother and sister. So sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't, just like real brothers and sisters. So these are my two kitties. And let's see. Oh, it looks like some other folks have some dogs and cats and even chickens. So maybe some of you guys know some of the things that I do to take care of my animals. So you can type in over here, what are some of the things that you think I need to do to take care of my cats? So what do I need to give them, do for them? How do I keep them healthy? So what are some things that I might do for them? And while you guys answer me, I am going to talk first a little bit about what I get from my kitties. So let's see, stop this, I'll go full screen. So some of the things I could get from my kitties would be if they were outdoor kitties and they lived outside near my chicken where my other animals are. Most cats don't go after chickens because chickens can defend themselves pretty well. A good cat might try to go after a chicken, but if they're getting other food, they're probably not going to go after a chicken. But chickens attract other things like rodents, so rats and mice that might come to try to eat chicken food, and cats are a great deterrent for rats and mice. So a lot of farmers like to have what might be called a barn cat. So a cat that hangs out in the barn and keeps rodents away from the animal food. So unfortunately, my kitties are indoor only. So that means I don't let my kitties roam around outside. So they only stay in my house with me, and they seem to be scared of most small animals. When I have baby chicks in here, my cats are actually scared of the baby chicks. So while a cat could deter rodents, not mine. So I'm not getting that from my kitties. So the only thing that I actually get from my kitties, and I actually have Churro over, if he'll cooperate. He's a very tolerant kitty, so he does like to be held quite a bit, and he actually likes to be held upside down most often. So he's a very silly kitty, very long kitty too. So, but Churro mostly just gives me love. And that is what I get from Churro. So if I'm ever feeling sad, upset, or if I'm feeling anxious, so kind of scared maybe, I can hold Churro, I pet him, and he makes me feel better. So it's really nice because Churro loves to accept love. So as long as I'm petting him and being nice to him, he usually gives me love right back. And he's a very good listener because he never interrupts, so he doesn't talk very much. So only when he's hungry, he meows a lot. So that's the main thing that I get from my kitties is when I'm feeling upset, sad, anxious, my kitties help calm me down just by being there, and I can pet them. So my kitties provide emotional support for me. So that's really nice. And that's honestly what I get from a lot of my animals. I really love my animals, and being around them makes me really happy and calm. I'm going to put Churro in his cat tree because he's happy. So we'll see if he'll hang out here with me. So, or he'll just knock stuff off my desk. So let's see if you guys said anything. Let's see. Oh, you guys said lots of things that I might have to do to take care of my cats while I was talking about Churro. So let's see. I do need to give my cats food and water. So someone said food and water. So maybe I have to take them on walks. These kitties don't go on walks outside. I have seen some cats go for walks on leashes, but I do exercise my cats. So my cats do need some exercise. Let's see. I need to give them love, which I definitely do. And let's see. Anything else? Let's see. So a lot of people are saying I have to give them food. Oh, and someone even said I have to clean up their poop. So that is totally true. So let me show you some of the things I do to take care of my cats. So I've got a bunch of videos here. So we'll start with the food. So I do have to feed my cats every day. So kitties are a big responsibility. They rely on me for food. So I do have to feed them every day. I like to feed them wet food. So it's food that's in a can because the water in there is actually really good for the kitties. So kitties do need to drink a lot of water. So the wet food has more water in it. And Churro really enjoys drinking up all of the little liquid in there. So the kitty food that we've got for them is actually, it's mostly just chicken. And it does have some extra vitamins in it. So it's not just plain chicken that I would cook. And that's why I have to feed them special cat food because it has special vitamins for cats that they need for their eyes. So, and here's Churro. First, before he eats all the chicken, he likes to lick up all of the chicken water. So that is his favorite thing to do. In addition to wet food, so I feed them breakfast in the morning and dinner. Times, a lot of people, especially for barn cats that live outside, you might just give them dry food, so like little kibbles. And this might be closer to what you might feed your dog, but this is specifically for kitties because, again, they need special vitamins from their food. So I give them, after they eat their wet food, I give them a scoop of kibble, which they usually share. There's Cece waiting for her turn, but she is not very good at waiting. She's not very patient. The other bowl next to the food, even though it looks like there's nothing in it, it actually just has fresh, clean water in it. So when I feed my kitties, I make sure that their water is clean and they always have enough water in there so that they can go and drink whenever they want. So a lot of times with barn cats or even with inside cats, you can just leave them a pile of kibbles and they will self-regulate. So they know how much their body needs. Some kitties are not as good, and those are my kitties. So my kitties, when I got them from the pound, they didn't really know how to eat very well. So whenever I put food in the bowl, they scarfed it all down. So we tried putting out lots of the dry food for them, and they just kept eating and eating and eating, kind of like how a dog would, which is why you have to feed dogs twice a day at least, so that they don't eat too much. So my kitties were gaining lots and lots of weight when they were little itty bitty kittens because as soon as we put down the food, they would scarf it all down immediately. So that's why we feed our cats twice a day, is because I think probably from where they were living before, living on the street, they weren't getting enough food. So whenever they saw food, they would scarf it all down. But now that they live with us, they can get as much food as they want, but we're giving them a limited amount of food so that they don't get too chubby, especially because what they do most of the day is sleep. So speaking of which, my kitties do need a place to sleep. So I'm giving them food, water, and now I need to give them a place to sleep. So here is a video of Cece and Churro cuddling in their cat bed. But luckily, Kitties sleep just about anywhere. So I think if we didn't have a cat bed, they would sleep anywhere. Here, this is actually my office right here. So Churro's in his cup. Then this is a little soft lamb blanket that Churro likes to sleep on. He sleeps on his cat scratcher. He'll sleep on our bed. So he'll sleep pretty much anywhere. He likes to sleep on our couch too. So we left the recliner out and there's Churro on the couch. Cece likes to sleep on the top of the couch where our heads are, and sometimes she licks us. And then Churro's favorite place to sleep is on clean laundry. So as soon as I wash it, he sleeps on that. So kitties do need a place to sleep, but they probably don't need a specific kitty bed because they sleep wherever they want to. But they need a safe place to sleep. So since our kitties are indoors, everywhere is safe for them, but an outside barn kitty might need a safer space to sleep at night so that other predators don't hurt it. So sometimes barn kitties, friendly barn kitties can come in at night. My aunt lived on a much bigger farm. And she had barn kitties, and a few of her barn kitties would come inside and sleep in her house at night. But they would have to come in at the right time in order to sleep inside. So my kitties, speaking of them maybe eating a little too much, I do actually make sure my kitties get a little exercise, and it's a ton of fun because I actually exercise them by playing with them. So Churro is really the one that likes to play a lot. Cece watches Churro play. But Cheryl likes to play with feathers. He likes to play with pretty much anything. He really likes hair rubber bands. So what's holding like my bun in place, he'll chase them. He plays with pretty much anything, but his feathers really get him moving quite a bit more. So he definitely will chase his feathers. And this is not only fun for me, but it helps my kitty exercise a little bit. And so now my cats have had food, water, they have a safe place to sleep, they get exercise, and let's talk some more about keeping my kitties healthy. So in order to take care of my kitties, I actually trim their nails well. If their nails get too long, they kind of get caught on me and it hurts me, but this also can help keep them healthy. So I like to, when they're feeling a little sleepy and cuddly, I actually play with their paws. And that way, when I bring the clippers out, they kind of don't know that it's something that might be kind of scary. Clipping their claws doesn't hurt them at all, but it definitely keeps them from hurting me if their long claws accidentally scratch me a little bit. And actually for Churro, it is really a health thing. Churro is kind of a weird kitty. He actually has an extra toe that cats don't have. So cats usually have their 4 toes, and then they have maybe an extra claw a little bit further up their leg. Churro has a 5th toe, and I didn't trim his special claw, but he actually has a 6th claw in between his toe, and he can't scratch that one. So kitties can actually help trim their own nails a little bit and shed the outside layer scratching post. So here's Cece demonstrating a little scratching pad. So this is just made out of cardboard, and I put some catnip on it to scratch it for a video, but they do scratch it without the catnip. So that's why Cece's being so silly and rolling all over it, because it smells like catnip, which is a special treat for her. But the kitties can put out their claws and scratch the cardboard. They can also scratch a scratching post that has carpet on the outside. And this helps them shed the outer layer of their claws. So Churro, for his secret claw that's in between here, he can't scratch with that. And if I don't trim it, it will actually grow too long and it cuts him. So I have to make sure to trim that claw. Otherwise, he could get cut. It could be really painful for him to walk, and he might get an infection. So that is actually part of keeping my kitties healthy and making it so their claws aren't too long and they don't accidentally scratch me. So the other thing that I do for my kitties, and again, I like to do this when they're nice and sleepy, is I groom my kitties. So I use a special comb. So this one, the little purple comb, is one of my favorites. It really helps get all of their fur out, and it's really gentle, so it kind of feels just like I'm petting them. So I've been doing this since they were kittens. So they don't really get bothered by combing. Some kitties do get bothered by it, but just doing it a little at a time and while they're kind of sleepy can kind of help them. And the reason why I groom them, because they do keep themselves pretty clean, so they lick each other, but you can see how much hair is coming off of Churro. And if the kitties lick up all this hair, they might get a hairball and then they throw it up somewhere in my house. So it's kind of yucky, but it helps keep the kitties from throwing up if I comb out a lot of that hair. It also helps keep my house cleaner so that I don't have cat hair all over my house all the time. So that's why grooming my kitties can be really important. And then one of the last videos I have is something you guys mentioned is I have to scoop the litter box. So my kitties, since they're indoor only, they use the bathroom in our house. So we have actually 2 litter boxes. So I think the recommendation is that you actually have enough litter boxes for both cats, or even an extra one. So we only have 2 litter boxes, but this gives them enough space that we can keep it clean. So we clean the litter box every night, because sometimes if it starts to get really, really yucky in there, the cats don't want to go to the bathroom in there, because if your bathroom was really disgusting and gross and smelled really terrible, you might not want to go to the bathroom in there either. So that's why we scoop the litter box every night and keep it nice and clean so that the kitties don't go to the bathroom in other places in our house, maybe on a carpet or somewhere where they're not supposed to. So we try to keep their litter box really clean. And then the last thing I do to keep my kitties healthy is I actually keep a close eye on them, just like I do with all of my animals, that if my kitties suddenly start acting differently, so maybe if they stop eating, if they throw up, if they won't get up, they don't play anymore. So if they're really looking kind of different, or if they're looking skinnier than usual, or if they have little patches of fur missing, like if they're not looking the same as they usually do, then I bring my kitties to a vet, so a doctor for cats. And that way the vet can take a look at them. They can do some tests. They can make sure my kitties are healthy. My kitties also get vaccines. So if they were to go outside, they get shots to keep them from getting sick from wild animals. So those are definitely some things I want to bring my kitties to the vet for. So I can definitely have the doctor, just like when I go to the doctor to keep myself healthy, the kitties can go to the doctor to keep them healthy. So let's see, that's most of what I do to take care of my kitties. And let me go over to the chat over here. So again, only I can see your questions, and I'm going to scroll through because I'm sure you guys asked some questions while I was talking. But if you have any questions about the kitties, you can ask them over here. So let's see. Oh, some folks said that I need some toys for my kitties, and my kitties kind of turn everything in my house into a toy. So like I said, hair rubber bands, like these ones, that is Churro's favorite toy. No matter what I give him, he loves rubber bands. And they also like, let's see, I think I've got some pictures. Cece likes bags and boxes the most. So she doesn't really play as much with like feathers and things. She doesn't really chase stuff, but she likes to hide in things. So whenever you put a box down or a bag, Cece is usually crawling in it. Churro, he plays with most things, but he is very silly and usually likes to crawl under things. So whenever we make the bed, he usually crawls underneath. He'll crawl underneath if we've got tissue paper or anything laying around. He kind of uses it like covers. So Churro actually likes to be covered up by stuff like blankets and things. And let's see. Let me see if there are some other questions. Oh, where do I put the poop? So we put the poop outside in our garbage can straight away because their poop can be really smelly. And our can is in our kitchen, and we don't like to smell kitty poop when we're cooking food. So we usually put our kitty poop right outside in the trash can. And then let's see. And my kitties actually don't, someone's saying we should give them treats. And my kitties actually don't go for very much. There is one type of treat that only Churro will eat. Cece doesn't eat any treats to my knowledge. they kind of act like their dry food. Their kibble is a treat. So if the kitties ever get outside accidentally or they're hidden somewhere and we can't find them, we usually just take a bag of their, we call them crunchies, but they're dry food. So we take their crunchy food and we shake the bag and the kitties come running. So they like their dry food a lot. But we've tried to give them other treats and they don't like it. The one treat that Cheryl will eat is bonito, which are these tiny dry little fish flakes. They smell very, very fishy, but he really loves bonito. So he likes to eat that as a treat. Let's see, what type of cat are Churro and Cece? So I actually don't know what kind of kitties they are. They're most likely mixed. Cece's coloring. So if I can show you guys what Cece looks like. Cece is called usually a tortoiseshell cat, and that is from the pattern that is on her back there. So it's that orange, black, gray pattern on her that's kind of like swirly and stripy. So that's a tortoiseshell kitty. Churro, we're not really sure what kind of cat Churro is, but he does have a special name for having too many toes. So since he has more toes than a normal kitty, he's called polydactyl. So that means he's just got extra toes. So some kitties can have lots of extra toes, but Churro just has one extra toe and two extra claws. So that's the most of what we know about Churro, but we did find him, I think he was living under a house somewhere in the city that we lived when we came and got him. Let's see. Do I have a video that shows how kitties go to the vet? I actually don't have a video of that because I wasn't taking videos then, and going to the vet is not Churro's favorite thing. Cece stays very calm. She's usually the scaredy cat, but Churro is usually the brave one. But when they go to the vet, Churro gets really upset. So we actually put both of our kitties into a little carrier box. So they both go into the same box because it helps keep them calm. When we separate them and then take them out of the house, Churro gets so upset. So usually the entire time we're in the car going to the vet, Churro is meowing. So he just goes meow, 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 meow constantly until we get there. And then even when we're there, he's a little upset. But when he's with Cece, he does seem to be a little calmer. So we always take them to the vet together, even if Cece doesn't need to go. So Cece always comes with Churro to help keep him calm. So they help calm each other down. And usually when they do go to the vet, they might get their temperature checked. And so just like we might get our temperature checked, they get weighed, just like we get weighed at the doctor. And sometimes they get some shots. So usually they get shots at the scruff of their neck, so on the back of their neck. So usually the vet kind of gives them a little kitty earthquake and then gives them a shot and they can stay nice and calm. So their doctor visits are actually a lot like our doctor visits. So let's see, do I have any dogs? So I actually don't have any dogs. And the reason I don't have any dogs is because I have so many other pets. So it's kind of complicated to find a dog with the right personality because the type of dog that might be good for us is called a livestock guardian dog. These types of dogs are very calm around other animals. So that means they won't chase my chickens, they won't chase the kitties, and they like to just sit and protect animals. Unfortunately, the thing that makes it a little bit tricky is that they don't like strangers. And I have a lot of people who come to our farm and like to see our animals, and I teach a lot of classes here. So that's why we were like, oh, well, then that kind of dog would bark at the strangers. So we need a dog that would be really nice to our chickens, our cats, would be good around all of the children that come to our house and learn about our animals, and also around a lot of strangers who might come to our house. So it's just been really challenging to find the right dog. And also our house and our farm is very, very small, so we don't have a lot of space. So we'll probably need to move to a larger farm in order to get any other big animals like a dog. Let's see. Um, let's see, does Churro like lasers? So I don't know that I've ever tried a laser with Churro. I think we've seen him chase some flashlights, but I bet he would like a laser. But I actually don't have a laser pointer, but I'm pretty sure Churro would really enjoy a laser pointer. Let's see. Just scrolling through and seeing if we've got some other questions. Let's see. Oh, and someone says they like our cat names. Thank you very much. So Cece was actually, I forget Churro's name. He had a different name at the pound and we named him Churro, but Cece has been her name since she was at the pound. Let's see. Oh, I think I got most of the questions. Oh, are they a he or a she? So Churro is a boy and Cece is a girl. So we have one of each. And they do tend to get along most of the day. So most of the day they cuddle and sleep together. But then every so often they wake up and one of them will like bat the other one in the face and then they'll fight and they'll chase each other and then they'll come back and they'll cuddle and go to sleep. So sometimes they fight a little bit, but mostly we got 2 kitties so that they could keep each other company because cats are actually social. They are territorial, so we can't have too many cats. But the 2 kitties, they can keep each other company while still having enough space in the house. So that's why we have 2 kitties. And we did get a he and a she, mostly just because they're brother and sister. They're from the same litter and we wanted to keep them together. Let's see. Can I tell you how Churro and Cece act when they get shots? So they actually act pretty calm. And that's because they're usually pretty upset when they go to the vet. So compared to how they're already acting, they kind of act the same. So they definitely get a little scared, but as soon as we take them home, within an hour, they're totally fine. So the vets have very special ways to give shots to cats. And I find that the best way to distract the kitty is with the kitty earthquake. So they usually grab the kitty by the scruff of the neck. So let's see if we've got Churro's already fallen asleep over here. So here's Churro. So the scruff of the neck, they've got a lot of extra skin up here, so it doesn't hurt them, and it can actually help calm them down a little bit. But our vets usually take the kitty by the scruff and give them a little kitty earthquake. So, and you can see he's not too upset by being manhandled like that. So the shots are really quick and really small, so Churro doesn't get too upset by shots. So let's see. Oh, Churro also plays sometimes by trying to bite my arm, so he is a silly kitty. Here you go. You can go sit in your bed again. So it's good that he's sitting in his bed. Usually when I've got my computer open, he likes to sit on the keyboard instead. So let's see, how do they act when I cut their nails? So if I just grabbed Churro, like right now since I picked him up and moved him around, he's kind of awake. So if I tried to grab his paws right now, he might try to bite me a little bit. And he never really bites me. He usually kind of warns me. So he'll put his mouth around my hand so I can feel his teeth, but he never really bites down. So he's usually a pretty nice kitty. And as long as I pay attention to the warnings, like if he was hissing, I would give him his space. Or if he kind of goes around and tries to bite or bat at me, then I'll give him some more space, because if I keep trying to bother him, he might really bite me. So if he was acting like this, I'm not going to cut his nails right now, but at night, sometimes our family goes and we sit down and we watch TV together, and Churro likes to come and sit on my lap. So I actually have his nail clippers right next to a little table, right next to our couch on a little table. So when he comes to sit on my lap and he gets nice and relaxed and he's really sleepy on my lap, that's when I cut his nails. So he usually doesn't really care. Cutting his secret nail, so the claw that's in here, it's really hard to get to, so I usually have to hold him. And in order to cut that nail, I usually cut that separately. I actually have to wrap Churro in a towel so that I can hold him and he stays still. And then I can take his little kitty arm and get his nail out, and I have to trim that really, really carefully. So let's see. What is my most favorite thing about the kitties? I think it is how cute and soft and cuddly they are. I think my favorite thing is when the kitties do come and sit with me and cuddle with me. So Churro actually, especially in the morning time when he starts to get hungry for breakfast, if I'm sleeping in my bed, Churro will come and sleep on top of me. So he usually wakes me up with his little whiskers in my face. And even though it's kind of annoying, I'm like, Churro, go away. It's really cute, and it's still one of my favorite things. So let's see. Oh, and a few people are saying they like the pictures in my background. So these are actually some pictures from some of my students at schools that I go to. That is a picture of Ruby the chicken. And then I've got some bees from some of my bee classes. So if you ever draw any pictures of my animals or anything that you learned, feel free to share because I love seeing them. So I think oh wait, there's one more question is, do I feed them human food? I don't usually feed them human food. I usually feed them specialized cat food just because it has the special kitty vitamins in it that they need that are really good for their eyes. So if you feed a cat dog food or other food, they usually don't get all of the nutrients that they need. But the kitty food, when the kitties were kittens, so right now Churro is, I think he's about 5 years old. Or actually he's 6, so he's getting a little older. So he's an adult kitty. But when he was a little kitten, him and Cece were crazy. Like I said, they lived on the street and they might not have gotten enough food while they were out there. So they would eat anything. So they would usually, when I would eat dinner, we would have to like bat them away because the cats were like on the table trying to eat our food. They love to eat lasagna, which I thought was just a silly thing that Garfield did, but like they actually really like lasagna. I've caught Churro. Also, his name is very fitting because he would actually eat cookies. So I baked gingerbread cookies around Christmas time, and I saw him grab a cookie off the cooling rack, and he ran away, and it crumbled, and he like scarfed down all the crumbs. So now the kitties know that we're always going to feed them. We always give them wet food. We always give them kibble, so they always have enough food. So their behavior has changed. So since they were living on the streets, I think they were scared that they were not going to get enough to eat. So when we first got them, that's why they were scarfing everything in sight. But now they're very calm. I can eat dinner in peace, undisturbed by the cats, unless I'm eating tuna fish. If I'm eating tuna fish salad or something like that, Cece tries to come and take it from me. So she's very gentle. So now I can say like, no, Cece. So I do sometimes let her lick the tuna fish bowl since she seems to like it so much. And then let's see, what else and she also likes cheese. Churro doesn't like very many human foods anymore, thank goodness, because he was crazy when he was a kitten. But Cece does still eat tiny bits of cheese, so we don't feed her too much because it might make her sick or make her a little chubby. So we do give her, we let her lick the bowl for tuna fish, and when I'm making things with crumbly cheeses, she likes to lick my fingers. Let's see, how long do cats normally live? So cats can live, it's really variable. When I was littler, I had kitties. Most of them lived to be about 14 or 15 years old. My aunt, who had the big, like all the barn cats and lives on the bigger farm, she had a kitty that lived to be 21 years old. So that is the very oldest kitty that I have heard of. But 15 or 16 seems to be about the normal age. So Churro has a long way yet to go. He could live for probably another at least 10 more years, and we're taking care of him as best we can so that he can live a really long, happy, healthy life. So hopefully he can live to be 21 too. And let's see, what animals have I had in my life? Oh man, lots of animals. I had a ton of animals. So right now I've got cats, I have chickens, I have bees, and I have sheep. When I was little, I had fish. I had a bunch of different kinds of lizards. I think I had a green anole, which is a little skinny green lizard, and I had chameleons for a little while. Let's see, I had mice, which were very cute, and I had Russian dwarf hamsters, which they're like a little brownish hamster with white stripes on them. I'm sure I found a whole bunch of other insects. I really loved butterflies a lot, so I was always catching like caterpillars. I actually, just on Tuesday, I caught more caterpillars. I still like butterflies and caterpillars. I'm going to grow them into butterflies and then release them. So I don't keep them too long, especially if they're wild animals, because nature is a better spot for them. But for caterpillars, we can actually help the caterpillars make it to adulthood, because a lot of other animals, like birds, try to eat the caterpillars. So when I see caterpillars, I do like to raise them and then release them as butterflies. So I think those are all the animals I had. I'm probably forgetting some because I did have a lot of animals growing up. My parents were very nice about that, but I did also do a really good job taking care of all of my animals. So like you see, it's a lot of work to take care of an animal, even though if I'm sick, I still have to feed my kitties and scoop their litter and take care of them. So I still have to do a lot of work. I can't take a day off just because I want to go watch a movie at night, or I want to play video games, or I'm too tired, because the kitties need me to take care of them. So I do a great job taking care of my kitties, and they give me a lot of love for it. I think the last question is, where do I live to have all of these crazy animals? I actually live in Alameda, California. So that is in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it is in the East Bay. The East Bay, so it's kind of a little bit further away from the ocean than the peninsula and other parts of the San Francisco Bay Area. But in the East Bay, a lot of people have a lot of animals. So parts of the East Bay allow having goats, cows, pigs. So I can't have cows or pigs where I live, but I can have the sheep. Actually, I can't have goats. I can't have pigs. But that's why I do have the sheep. So I always make sure to follow the laws where I'm living, because I do have a lot of guests and I film everything and show everybody. So I always try to follow the laws where I live. So not everybody where they live can have all of these animals, but oftentimes we can have fish or a kitty cat, maybe. Sometimes it's tricky with apartments. It took a long time to find a place where we could live and have all of these animals. So it was a little tricky, but that's why we live over here, is because we found that we could keep all of the animals that we really liked, but still live close to a big city. So not way out there on a big farm just yet. So thank you guys so much. And oh, and I think someone says, it'd be great to meet you one day. I would love that. Unfortunately, now with shelter in place, I don't do any classes at my house, but I'm hoping one day soon I will open back up, because I do give urban farm tours and beekeeping classes. And I actually come to a lot of schools in the San Francisco Bay Area. And once a year, I even do a road trip down to Los Angeles with my bees to do classes down there. So I love to do classes in school. So hopefully when we go back to school, I can come and visit a lot of you that are still watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and learning all about my kitties. Next week on Tuesday, we're going to check in on our seedlings and see how much they've grown. And then on Thursday, we have 2 bee classes coming up. So there's a bee class at 11 called Save the Bees. And we're going to look at all of the problems that honeybees are facing and what we can do to maybe help the bees in our area. And then at 3:30, our regular time, I'm going to talk about varroa mites, which are a pest that actually bites bees and can get them sick. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these mites, and I'm going to show you the inside of my beehive and what I do about them as a beekeeper. So I've got 2 bee classes on Thursday. So the Save the Bees one is a repeat, and I do have a video up online, but I'm doing it special for a school. So if you want to tune in live and ask me questions, you can come to that one too. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll hear from you next week. Bye.